Welcome to After the Malted Random, brought to you by The Malting Hour. I am one of your hosts, Tony Golick, joined always with
Brandon Winninger.
Hi, Brandon. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. I got to be honest. I kind of like these little random ones that we've been doing from our homes. Not that I don't like hanging out with you, but I feel like for both of us, it might relieve like a little bit of not pressure, but there's like setting up and we're working at our own pace.
I was fully, for full transparency, I thought you were coming by tonight, and I like cleaned up and everything, and then
now your basement's clean.
I have no, it's not. Oh, it's Tony clean.
Perfect. That's good enough for me, baby.
And then so I just finished a second batch of jerky.
Oh no.
So I did one last week that turned out fucking fantastic. I did one with brisket.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You said you were going to do that.
So it was ghost pepper and Carolina Reaper with brisket. It's got a kick to it, but it's just like, it's super clean meat. And then I did another one, the one I did today, and I marinated it for like 2 days, was a mango habanero jerky.
Your spicy jerky, I think there's maybe one batch where I was like, oh shit, that's really hot. The rest of them, you have like a really nice balance of like the spiciness where like you take a bite into it, it's like, oh, there's some sweetness, there's like saltiness, there's the meat, and like, oh, there's some heat. And then it either kind of goes up a little bit, lingers for just a little bit. No matter what peppers that you've used, you've always used like the right amount, that it's not like, oh fuck, I can't eat this. There was one batch though where I was like, I couldn't stop eating it and everything was on fire as eating and the day after.
Nice. That's how it should be. So what I did with the brisket one though is I had like a little over 2.5 pound brisket. I shaved the majority of the fat off, which I melted down to make some beef tallow. And then I ground the brisket, and then I used my jerky gun to make the strips. So I actually mixed in all of the stuff, and then I ground it again.
Oh my God.
And that one turned out great. And then the mango habanero one I went and I just bought some like 94% lean ground beef, like 2.5 pounds of that.
The way you described grinding up the brisket, it's like it's ready for a sausage.
Oh yeah, more or less.
Oh man, maybe we should consider doing that. For all the times we've talked about cooking and eating, I really do feel like this is the year we're going to do it. We're going to do an episode with food.
Well, and then my other thought was, so like we have a subscription to ButcherBox, not a sponsor.
But could be if you guys are interested. ButcherBox will totally be happy to sponsor you.
Yeah, and one of the options you can get literally is like a small brisket. I want to do that again, like in my next box, get another small brisket, and then just grind that up to make brisket burgers.
Oh man, that sounds fantastic. Sign me up for that too.
I will.
we did have a brief what was it, during weekend before Father's Day, you and I were texting back and forth about, like, I said, you and I go back and forth, we share videos with each other and links and stuff like that about like different foods and crazy things that we want to try. And for how close we are to each other as far as like friendship and family, we don't
in distance.
In distance. Like we don't do those things. And it's just like, we almost take it for granted. Like, well, yeah, we got the podcast and we see each other, and then there's, parties and events and things like that. And we do, hang out occasionally, but like we still need to do like the family backyard barbecue, hang out, make some crazy stuff and have some fun and just enjoy summer in Chicago, man.
Totally.
So,
and I'm down for that.
I'm down. And actually, as we're recording this, it is the first day of summer. So cheers to that. The sun, I think, just officially set by the time we started recording.
Sister's birthday.
What was it? Your sister's birthday?
Yep.
Oh, which sister?
My sister, Trisha.
Hey, Trisha. Happy birthday. From the Malting Hour.
Happy birthday, sis. Thanks for being born.
Brandon, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Sherman Tingle's Driver Nation.
Oh, shit. Okay, so I have heard about this beer because is that the Drive?
Yep.
The Drive at my work, they play that in the office. And I'm getting personal here. When I go to the bathroom, I go up front to the office. It's air conditioned. it's a bigger bathroom. It's nicer. If I'm going to spend my time there, and there's the
They've
drive is
got
on.
they've got 2-ply.
No, it's still sandpaper. But I've heard about this beer, and I think I saw it recently. What is it? A pale ale or a lager?
It's American Premium Lager.
How is it? Tell us about it.
It's really fucking good. So let me read you the description on here.
Lay it on me.
It says, "We hear you, Driver Nation. From lakefront concerts to backyard barbecues, good times deserve a great beer. 97.1 FM, The Drive's Sherman and Tingle, along with Crystal Lake Brewing, bring you a crisp, clean classic lager that goes with everything. From power chords and drum solos to pizza and burgers, sip, savor, and rock on Chicagoland." Even though that doesn't give you any clue of like what the beer tastes like.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a collab. It's a promotional beer. I'm sure a lot of people are buying it.
It's like an upscale macro brew.
So it's upscale in what sense?
It tastes cleaner.
Okay.
It tastes fresher. The sweetness is more present. And I feel like that's just because like this is a small batch beer. So like, you know, when you're making a lager, a lot of times, you know, depending on the brewery, like it's hit or miss, and having that sweetness is needed for the beer. And sometimes it's very subtle and like a traditional lager. This one comes through a little bit more, but not in a bad way. It's got a good maltiness, a slight bitterness, super smooth mouthfeel, very lightly carbonated, and super easy drinking, like dangerously easy drinking. And it's only 4.5%.
So if you had to compare it to a macro beer, one of the big guys, what is it close to? If you can nail it. I mean, I know it's hard, but like just like off the top of your head, not saying that like, oh, if you love Budweiser, you're gonna love this, but like, does it remind you of anything?
I'm trying to think. And you know what? Funnily enough,
I love the word funnily. I can't say that enough.
I say that I don't think so. I'm going to go away from macro because what I'm starting to think is Yingling.
Okay.
And I wish I might still have a Yingling somewhere. I'm almost tempted to go look and grab one and crack it and do a side by side.
I was going to say, if you do, it's in your fridge, the cooler.
I got to clean that out.
Freezer.
You've got
a lot of old things in there that like you need to empty and either drink or you need to get rid of.
Yeah,
because there's times where I'm watching the cats and I find beers in there and I'm like, I'm not even going to drink this.
Yeah, there needs to be a purge.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, that's cool. I'd seen that beer and I was like, obviously, you know, it's a publicity thing and that's cool. And I don't know anything about Crystal Lake Brewing, which is not to anybody, but Crystal Lake Brewing is here in Illinois. It is a suburb here in Illinois, or it's a city in Illinois, a suburb of Chicago, I'm assuming. I don't know shit about geography right now. But yeah, it's cool that they did this, like that they did this beer as a collaboration with the radio station and with Sherman and Tingle. Were Sherman and Tingle like Q101 guys at one point?
I feel like they were.
I think so. And if you guys don't know, Q101 used to be our alternative rock station. Then it was something else, 101, and now it's finally back to Q101.
It was news. It went
away. And then Q101 was, or Q whatever was like a lower station, like the 99 point or 98 point something. And then it came back to an alternative station. And then now it's officially Q101 again. And that's what Brandon and I grew up with as far as alternative rock goes back in the 90s. And sorry, if you guys can hear, there might be some noise. The cats are above me playing with toys. I can hear it through my microphone.
Now, if we can bring back 97.9 The Loop,
that would be great. I mean,
103.5.
I mean, there was at one point in Chicago, there was a lot of rock stations that was just so great. I like the 97 point. They're on 97.9, right?
Who?
Sherman and Tingle?
No, 97.1.
97. That's not the Drive, is it?
It is.
Really? Man, I remember the Drive being more laid back in the day.
I I think it was,
I
and
remember a lot of
then
like James Taylor being played, which
yeah,
is fine. I just remembered that back in the day.
97.9 was the Loop.
Oh, that's right. 97.9 is something else now. It's a new rock station. They play like Guns N' Roses. I have not listened to it. I don't listen to the
Really?
radio. Yeah.
I thought they played Guns N' Roses before. Like,
Well, they did, and then they turned to something. I think it was like a Christian radio station, and then it changed to something else.
yeah,
And now it's a rock station again.
when are people going to realize, or like these radio station owners going to realize that Christian stations are not selling, especially in the North? Maybe in the South you can get away with that.
Sure. And then no knocking if you enjoy those stations. It's
Yeah,
just it's not very popular up here.
but ladies and gentlemen, that's why we have AM radio.
Fantastic, exactly. I like driving through small towns and finding those radio stations.
Oh yeah, dude, I'd love. That's I always when we do road trips, I just keep it on FM and like do like the scroll thing and just
Yeah.
it's a station. It's like, all right, what's going on?
It's also how 90% of backwoods horror movies start too, with those radio stations. So
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like, is this going to be it? Is this where I fulfill my dream of being in a horror movie? Is there a purpose to my life now? That sounds so sad.
where I get murdered.
No, I survive. I survive. That's my thought. I feel like I could survive.
But
a
your
horror
poor
movie at
wife
this
should
point.
be with you.
I think she'd be okay. If it was just me and her, I think I think it'd be like we'd come out damaged, but like we'd
The chances of a couple together in a car both surviving are very, very slim in a horror movie.
she would survive. I would not.
Yeah.
If I did survive, I would be missing fingers or a limb or just be like broken legs and stuff like that. Like it's the last girl is the main thing of horror movies.
Yeah.
When do we start our horror movie podcast? All right. So
right after you tell me what you're drinking.
Well, I will, but I want to know how many radio microphones. How many microphones are you giving this out of 5?
I'm doing solid 4. I actually really like this, and I can see myself drinking this again. And it makes me want to seek out more beers from Crystal Lake Brewing because I
That's
feel
good. Yeah.
they did a bang up job on this, and I would definitely be down to try this one again.
Well, I'm happy to know. I'm happy to hear that because, like I said, I've heard about this beer. I knew it was out, and I'd seen it, but I was never like, oh man, I gotta try this. Like, there's a WGN beer that I kind of want to try too, but I think it's also the same thing, like a light lager or whatever.
And that one was done by Metropolitan.
Was it?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Chicago's own, right? Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Chicago's Finest, or something like that.
Yeah. Well, Metropolitan was posting about it, so I'm assuming they did it. And then Sipes posted about it.
Nice.
This was this was a can that I acquired at Beer Under Glass.
Yeah. Nice. I'm glad you got that. Well, moving on to my beer, I went with
Tony drinking.
What's Tony drinking? Oh man, we should record things like that so that we can like pop them in there. Like, what's Brandon drinking? What's Tony drinking? Maybe if I feel up to it, I'll edit it, but probably not. I am drinking Pipeworks Barrel Aged Saddle Up, which is a 2017 and 2018 barrel aged barley wine ale with 2020 barley wine ale finished with cherry. That's what it says in the can.
Okay.
I've had this before. All I saw that it was like 2017, 2018, and then 2020. What's crazy about this is that this 2-pack that I got was $10 for a barrel aged barley wine. Yeah. I'm going to see if I can, my eyes are, oh, there it is. 1 pint. There are 16-ounce cans. It is 11.3% by volume.
Okay.
So it's a barley wine. I'm going to go in for another sip. Now reading the description. My original thought on it was this is a very light barley wine. There's a nice sweetness to it. There is the barrel. There's like a little tartness, and that might be from the cherry. Aftertaste, there is some cherry in there. But I think I'm getting that more from reading that this was finished in with some cherry there. It's a very light and easy drinking barrel aged barley wine. Like the barrel is there,
Ooh.
but it's not like I said, I'll give you the other can. I want you to try it and just tell me about it. We don't need to record about it unless, we do this again and record and you can talk about it.
I'm down either way.
Yeah. I would like to know what you think about it because it's interesting. It's weird to me though that it's $10. It was $9.99 for a 2-pack. It was that way at Garfield's. It was that way at Binny's.
I'm just wondering. Oh,
Both
that,
places
that
sold
couldn't
it
have
for
been
$10.
the retail price. What's the name of the beer?
It is called, going back to it, Barrel Aged Saddle Up.
Okay.
So I don't know. At that price point for this type of beer, Jesus, it's fantastic. It's really good. I mean, overall, it's a solid barley wine that has a nice barrel characteristic. If I'm going to compare it to like a barrel aged beer, you think about Dragon's Milk, like there's a nice barrel characteristic to there, like a bourbon barrel. Like there was actually, I was going to get, because they redesigned the packaging of Dragon's Milk, like they changed the way it looks, which looks super cool. And they just released their s'mores 4-pack, which I was gonna get. But regular Dragon's Milk, and I think we've talked about this before, like Dragon Milk is really good, but it's not like a big, thick, heavy stout. You get like it's a nice, like almost thin stout that has, tastes good and there's a good barrel to it, but it's not like, a huge barrel aged beer.
Which
That's kind of
I
what I get from this.
was gonna say, which is funny because 5 years ago we wouldn't have said that. We would have been like, "Oh
No,
man, this is like thick and like so good."
absolutely. I mean it, and just like any other beer review that we do, this is all based on our palates.
Well, it's not even that. It's also like the quality of beers that are coming out and all the
Sure.
work that's going into them.
Well, even at that, like I think Dragon's Milk is still really good. Like
I
it's a
love,
really good beer.
and it's priced super fucking affordably. Like
The variants that they do are super cool. They have a lot of fun with it. They do some stuff that I like, some stuff I don't like. Overall, like we really should do a Dragon's Milk episode.
yeah, when I do my chili, my go-to is the bomber of Dragon's Milk, and I swear it's like $4 or $5 for like that bomber.
And you do like a little pour. It's like one for you, one for me, one for
Well, I
you,
only
one
need
for me.
like 8 ounces in the
That's
chili, and
fun.
the rest goes to me. So I'm like,
What was that? 14 more ounces for you. That's almost a pint
yeah,
of Dragon's Milk. I mean,
yeah.
Dragon's Milk is good, but this beer, like, there's. I'm going back in for another sip. Hold on.
Also, looks like it's still available at Binny's
This
for
beer,
yep, for $9.99.
yeah, it's not a knock your socks off beer. Like for barley wines, I expect a lot of sweetness. There's a tartness to this, and I'm wondering if that's from the cherries. And it's not like sour tartness or like off-putting, but like it's just kind of a nice barrel aged beer. It's almost like if this was something that was available all the time, I think they would sell a lot of them. Kind of like Dragon's Milk. Like this could be Pipeworks Dragon's Milk, except it's a barley wine. I mean, it's
Yeah,
11%. I am like right before we started, I took a couple sips and like 16-ounce can. That's what I have left of it. Like I've been sipping and drinking as we're talking, and it's not like I'm like, oh man, this is so hot. It's so boozy. It's been warming up. Um, it's a it kind of baffles me. I don't know what to think about this beer. It's not a bad beer. It's not knocking my socks off, but I like it.
and it's barrel aged, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll read it again just because I don't remember. 2017 and 2018 barrel aged barley wine ale with 2020 barley wine ale finished with cherry. So it's 2017, 2018 barley wine ale that's with a mix blended with a 2020 barley wine ale that is then finished with cherry.
Interesting.
Super interesting. Can's cool because it's got the unicorn on there. I'm really enjoying it. Do I think I need to drink it tonight on a Wednesday? Probably not. I probably could have went with another beer that I have in the fridge from Half Acre. But this is all right. If I'm going to rate this, I'm going to rate it in
Unicorns.
No, I'm gonna rate it with rainbows because rainbows and unicorns go together.
It's
It's still Pride,
synonymous.
and it's still Pride Month. Out of 5 rainbows, I think I'm going 4, maybe 4.1. I mean, I, it's. I don't know. This is a tough one for me. This is like when Clark was talking. Oh God, when we were doing the Bourbon County earlier this year. I
Mm-hmm.
forgot which, or was it last year? Was it the Blantons, or there was one that he was just like perplexed by, where he couldn't fully give like a review on it.
Oh, I
That's
remember that. Yeah.
that's the way I'm kind of feeling about this. Like, I don't know. I don't
Now,
know. It's a good beer though.
did you have it in the fridge?
Yes,
Okay.
but
Is it changing as it warms up?
going in for another sip, by the way. Maybe. I think I don't know if I'd get cherry if it wasn't already put in my mind that there's cherry with this.
Okay.
But maybe somebody else with a better palate would be able to identify that. You know what I mean? Like maybe you or Clark or Dan would be able to identify there's some cherry. Because I did say there's some type of tartness. And there's not a tartness to barley wines normally.
Yeah.
Not when not if they're non-adjunct. It's mainly just like there's a coworker of mine who does not like barley wines. This is a barley wine I would suggest to him because it's not super sweet. It's not super syrupy, but it still feels like a barley wine. There's no heat from it. It just, I can't wait to give you this can. I really wanted to actually just drop this off to you tomorrow on my way home from work so that you can drink it tomorrow night and then text me and tell me all about it. Or maybe you just record something too that we just post into this episode as well, because I really do want to know what you think about this. I don't know how to,
I would be
don't know
curious.
what to
So
think about this beer.
if we save that can and then I can push for very soon for us to get Garrett on the episode and talk to Garrett and find out what's going on with this beer, man.
That would be great. I mean, yeah, I can still drop it off and leave it to you. Actually, there's a Maplewood barrel aged stout or an imperial stout that we bought a little while ago that it's at your house that we still need to drink together.
Yeah. No, it's in there. I still got it.
No, I know it is. I saw it the last house. I know. There was a part of me one time when I was watching the Cats. I'm like, are we going to drink this on an episode? It's a barrel aged beer. I don't have to drink this one. It's not like I dropped off an IPA. There's times where like with Mike, I'll give him beers, like, and then I'll go to his house for something, and it's been like 7 months later, and he's got a little tiny beer fridge because he doesn't drink beer really that much anymore.
Yeah.
He's got a tiny little beer fridge in his basement, and I'm like, dude, I gave you that fresh. Like, I wanted you to try it. Like, I recently just gave him that salted cherry beer from Arkansas. I gave him one of those cans because I was like,
Oh,
if
nice.
you let it sit, it's fine, but drink it. And he's like, this might be one that I don't sit on. I'm gonna see him tomorrow. He probably sat on it.
Told you not to sit on it, you stupid moron.
But yeah, it's good. I mean, it's a really good beer. It is a really good beer, and I like it. Like, especially at the price point. Like, it's a nice beer, like a barrel aged beer at 11%. Like these 2 packs, it's 32 ounces for $10. Barrel aged barley wine. That's easy to split with some friends or whatever. Like good holiday beer, you know.
I can agree with that.
I like
I
it
haven't had
overall.
it, but your description sounds like it would make a perfect holiday
Well,
beer.
same thing with like your beer. I'm looking forward to trying. What is that beer called again that you want?
Driver Nation.
Because that's what they call their listeners, Driver Nation.
Yep.
Cool. Hey, real quick, how was your Father's Day, man?
Father's Day was good. So Saturday we we kind of noticed throughout the day Benjamin was kind of getting this really hoarse cough.
Oh no.
And then we're like, oh shit, he's sick. And then so he woke up in the middle of the night coughing, and like Becker was with him and like blowing his nose and doing all this stuff, and he just sounded like shit. So middle of Saturday night, I had it in my head. I'm like, we're not doing anything on Sunday. I was like, I'm going to sleep. So I fell asleep. And then like 11 o'clock in the morning, Becca comes in. She's like, "Hey, happy Father's Day." And I was like, "What the fuck? It's 11?"
Those are the worst. Like, I don't mind sleeping in, but 11 o'clock, like,
Yeah.
fuck, there goes my whole day.
But then she was like, "Yeah, he's coughing, blah, blah, blah. What should we do?" I was like, "Oh, well," I was like, "I'll come down." So she brought me coffee. I came down. And she's like, "He hasn't really been coughing since we've been down here." I'm like, "Okay." I told my family, I was like, "Yeah, we're probably not going to come. Benjamin's coughing." And my sister's like, "We're fucking outside. Come on." I was like, all right. So we gave him a COVID.
Which sister said that?
My sister Laura.
No,
So
okay. So it wasn't birthday
yeah,
girl. So it's
yeah.
okay.
We gave him a COVID test. He was negative. And he had just gone to the doctor on Friday, and they said he was like perfect.
Which by the way, glad nobody who came to my house got COVID after we found out a guest had COVID. So that's cool. Nobody had COVID. So just the one guest, and it's working, everybody. It's okay.
Yep. I tested like 2 days after that, and I think I was fine. But
I waited because the World Health Organization says 5 days after, and if you start feeling symptoms, then test. We did not feel any symptoms at all, and we've been fine. And everybody else around me that I've been with has been fine. So that's good.
Have you ever gotten it? You've never gotten it, right?
I have never got COVID. I'm the one survivor, or I'm asymptomatic and I spread it to everyone I know. But that means that Laura and Mackenzie are the same. That's a song I just wrote right now.
Okay, so then we're in the same. We're in the same boat. Because I've never gotten it, but like Becca and Benjamin have both had it multiple times, and like I've still never gotten it. So
yeah.
Crazy.
So not have it. Feeling pretty good about that. So
knock on wood.
Knock on wood. 3 years in.
So that was.
Sorry, I also just got a whole bunch of random like spam text messages saying your Citibank card has been put on hold. I don't have a Citibank card.
So we ended up going up by my dad, hung out there. Like all of my sisters were there. My brother wasn't there.
The fuck
had fun. Benjamin had fun. Was fucking like literally running nonstop and screaming nonstop, and you could just hear his voice getting hoarser and like more and more hoarse as he kind of went on. And then we had dinner, and we had to pull him out kicking and screaming. Brought him home.
Sounds about right.
Gave him a bath, and then I put him to bed, and then I was like, I'm gonna go downstairs and play video games. So I did that, and then. Nice. I was off on Monday because my company celebrates or honors Juneteenth.
Maybe, yeah.
So I was off, and then Benjamin was homesick.
Oh, so he was probably doing okay, and then needed to rest another day, but then got sick.
Yeah, I don't know, but he wasn't sick. He didn't have a temperature. Like he had this unproductive cough, and we do think it's allergies because every time
unproductive cough, like it was something like that.
It was a dry cough.
I like that though. I knew exactly what you meant. I'm going to start using unproductive cough for dry cough.
That's what our doctors say.
That's fucking awesome. I've never heard of that.
So we kept him home. We probably could have sent him to school and he would have been fine, but we kept him home. We hung out on the couch, like, cause Becca was working. So me and him hung out on the couch most of the day. We watched Super Mario Brothers movie.
What did you think of it? Cause we were going to go see it and I was hungover.
I thought it was pretty good. The first 30 minutes were great. Then I fell asleep for a while, and the last 20 minutes were great.
Yeah, it's a kids movie that has a lot of nostalgia for the adults taking the kids to see it. And if you're going as an adult expecting like this, oh my God, we're going to open up the whole Nintendo universe, which is still a possibility. It's not like that. I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I didn't fall asleep because I was bored. I fell asleep because I was tired.
Well, of course.
So that was Father's Days.
I hope you get to rewatch it. Yeah, I think you would love it. I would watch it with you guys. Actually, let's do that.
I will.
All three of us at your house. Let's do that.
We have a friend that has it, so that's how we saw it.
Sick. I know exactly what you're talking about. Fantastic. That's awesome.
How was your Father's Day?
It was great, man. So this, when this comes out, it has already happened. The Outlaw Music Festival with Willie Nelson is going around United States right now. And I don't know, back in like February, it was announced or some shit like that. And there's all these artists being announced. So like Avett Brothers, Nathaniel, the guy who does "Son of a Bitch," that song, "Son of a Bitch," um, Kurt Vile, John Fogerty.
Ooh.
Oh man, Marcus King. There's
Willie
a
Nelson.
yeah, well, Willie Nelson, obviously. Robert Plant. Trampled by Turtles, Avett Brothers, I think I said Avett Brothers. They were all like, and there's a whole bunch of other bands, and they were announced, and so we bought tickets for it up in Alpine Valley for this Saturday coming up, the Saturday before this Monday episode. And the Thursday before, last Thursday, we had found out that the tour was like all those bands weren't going to be on the tour. And
Ooh.
so I saw the set list and we saw Trampled by Turtles, Robert Plant, Willie Nelson, and two other bands. And it was like, oh fuck, man. Like I really enjoy the Avett Brothers. Laura got me to like the Avett Brothers. That's like her mode of music, but I really, really like them. Like they're great. They put on a great show. Their songs are awesome. It's definitely along like the folky line of a folky type of music, and I really like them. But they weren't on there, and that's kind of why we we're going. We'd already seen Trampled by Turtles, and in Minnesota, Laura and my daughter are going to see Trampled by Turtles in camp. I was going to go, but Brandon, you and I are going to Riot Fest, which we can talk about that too. So I was excited to see the Avett Brothers, but they were not on there. So we were kind of bummed about that. And for Father's Day, Laura got me a shirt from camp, the band camp, which is awesome. Brewopoly, which is a brewer's monopoly. So she said you can play it on the podcast. And I was like, that is a long episode. And she got us tickets to go see the Avett Brothers in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So I'm super excited about that.
When is
But
that?
that's in August.
Oh,
So
okay.
that'll be fun. But also we've got two jalapeno pepper plants planted. My mom did those while she was in town. What's the other fucking, I don't remember. We've got these other peppers planted. Oh, cayenne, because I want to do my crushed red pepper, dehydrate them again. And then we got these candy cane striped bell peppers that we planted as well.
Ooh.
So I wanted to go to this garden center that we normally go to in like May that I didn't go with Laura. And so I said, I'm going to do this on Father's Day. And she didn't really want to go and do it. She's like, but I feel bad because, it's Father's Day. You should just like chill and do whatever you want to do. Because we went to the farmer's market here by us as well, where I
Yeah.
bought like 2 pints of 2 different types of Michigan cherries. And I have found out that cherries are my favorite fruit, hands down. I know they're expensive, but oh my God, cherries are so good. Anyway, so after we went to the farmer's market, hung out there for a little bit, I went to this nursery and I was going to get cherry bombs. I was going to get these midnight snacking tomatoes and some regular chives and then something else. Turns out because it's so late into the season of planting, I ended up with serrano peppers, which
Okay.
Serrano, I could have got like Trinidad scorpions, but I was like, what am I gonna do with these like spicy peppers other than share with Brandon and my coworker? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that, but Serrano peppers are the peppers used in jardinera, so I'm going to make my own jardinera this year. They didn't have regular chive; they had garlic chive, and apparently garlic chive is like regular chives, except they taste like garlic instead of onion.
Yep.
That's kind of fun.
It's better.
And then I got cilantro. So I'm doing some cilantro. And then the midnight snack tomatoes were not available. So I got these tomatoes that were kind of like it. They're cherry tomatoes. They're called black cherry tomatoes. So they're sweet and they're cherry tomatoes. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I planted those, or I bought them. They didn't have potting soil because everybody else went there and got everything, unlike me. But I did grill some steak, some chicken, hung out. My mother-in-law came by, gave me these like metal things that you put in glass beer bottles if they're still warm. like you keep them in the freezer. They're like stainless steel, and you put them in there, and they like chill
Oh,
them
yeah, I've
right
got a
away.
couple of those.
Yeah, I've got those. So I got that. And my daughter gave me some desserts, which she knew exactly what I liked. She got an Oreo cupcake and these 2 little chocolate tarts. So I was very excited about that.
Nice.
Steak turned out great. It was a great Father's Day, man. It was really nice. It was a great weekend. So I got some peppers in there. We're gonna. I mean, you guys are getting jardinera from me when I make it towards the fall. So got that going for me.
Yeah, I didn't say anything about gifts, but one of the coolest ones I got is I got a new wallet. It's a Ridge wallet.
That looks cool.
And
What's
it's
going on with
literally,
that?
it's just metal, and all my cards are in the middle. And
Sick.
cash is on the back.
Nice.
And it's got like RFID protection and all that kind of stuff. And like, you need a card, you just whoosh, push out and fan out your cards, and then kind of pick the one you
Whoa.
need. And yeah,
That's super cool, man. That's awesome.
yeah.
Look at us getting cool stuff.
I told her it's funny because I had told her I had wanted a wallet like that. Because even now, like I have too much stuff in here. I want to minimize it down and get like only the essential cards in there. So we'll see.
That's what I have now in my current wallet. Like Laura sees my wallet and she says, "You need a different wallet." And I was like, "Yeah, but you got me this as a gift. I just keep taking things out of it. It's not falling apart. It's fine. I mean, I've had this wallet now for like 12 years.
Yeah, I don't know how many.
Kick it, baby.
I don't know how many years I had mine, but it was getting like some of the card slots were getting a little loose.
My ID slot is dirty.
mine is broken, so instead of pulling it down, like the easier way is just to slide it out the rip in the side. I'm just like,
yeah. But I mean, like, I want to know what this wallet was, and get the same type wallet. That's good. Well, that sounds like a solid Father's Day, man.
And it sounds like you had a great one too.
And these were great beers that we both just had.
It was. This was fun. I like doing like the different things. And I know you had asked me if I had that Pipeworks beer.
I thought maybe you did.
I mean, it's not uncommon. But yeah, I kind of like how this turned out because I really enjoyed this beer. I thought it was really good and super cool. I'm glad I tried it because I would definitely, if I come across it again, I would pick it up.
Yeah, and now I want to try it. And then you've got a 16-ounce can coming your way of this, and whether we have it with Garrett or not, like I really do I kind of forget talking to Garrett about it. I really just want you to try it, and I want to know what you think about it. And like, even if it's just this weekend, like,
yeah,
I want to know, man. I want to know what you think about it because it's got me just. I'm pretty vocal about how I feel about beers, and this, I mean, I'm almost done with it. It's very good. I like it, but I just don't know how I totally feel about it.
All right, now I'm excited to try it.
All right, everybody. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you, everybody, for still listening to us. We appreciate it. It's fantastic. We love you all, and keep liking, subscribing, commenting. Send us information. Send us things you want to talk about. Or you want us to talk about. I mean, that's not what you want to talk about. What you want us to talk about.
Or if you've got an idea for an episode that you want to be on to talk about,
which we do have. We've got some loaded. We just got to find the time to do it. We've got some stuff there. And one day, I'm going to say right now, Clark and Dan will be back at some point. They're not totally gone, but they're just not here.
One day.
Brandon, I love you, man.
Love you too, bud.
Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us individually on social media. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, and on Untapped as BDubDrinksBeer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Ace of Help Chicago, on Twitter, The Ace of Help Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all three. Dan can be found on Instagram as hip__hops and hip hops on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at The Malting Hour.